I love you. My life.
Hi there, and welcome to the Love Your Life Hour with me, Jeannie Lee Perrin. I'm so happy that you could join us here today. Get ready to open your heart and mind and give yourself a big old hug as together we learn how to love ourselves more and to truly love our life. It's time to start enjoying the journey of your life. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Love Your Life show, number 47, with me, Jeannie Lee Perrin, and my lovely co-host, Debbie Filippi. Today, we have a very special guest with us. Gina DePrima is joining us today. Now, I met Gina several years ago through a wonderful self-growth program. She has such an amazing energy. The love and caring that she has for others just shines through when you talk with her. So you're going to love it. You're going to want to stay tuned. Gina is a family lawyer with her own practice in New York. She's also a very gifted and intuitive coach and mentor. And she's also a host here on Inflow Radio of a phenomenally popular show called Divorce with Heart. I'm going to let Gina tell you more about herself when I bring her on a little bit later after our deep breathing. And also this month is Mindfulness Month. So today we are going to talk about HeartMath, which is a wonderful system, a wonderful program, and the mind-body connection and lots of other cool subjects. I can't wait to speak with Gina again. She's a fascinating person, and all of the stuff we're going to talk about is going to help you become more present, more content in your everyday life. And when you're content in your everyday life, guess what? You love your life. And that's what we're here for, to help you to love your life a little bit more each day. So stay tuned. You are absolutely going to love listening to our conversation with Gina DePrima. I have a couple of really brief announcements. I'm going to talk really fast so that we can get to Gina and talk about all the fun stuff we're going to talk about. But I'd like to invite you to join our Facebook group. It's called Love Your Life, Reconnect to You. And to join, you simply get on Facebook, search for the group, Love Your Life, Reconnect to You. It will come up in your little search thing in Facebook, and you'll be able to request to join the group. It is a closed group, which means that you'll be able to search for it and find it. But if you value your privacy, you can post anything you want in that group, and it's not going to show up on your personal Facebook feed. So it's private and confidential within the group. You know, as private and confidential as Facebook can get, let's face it. But there you're going to be able to touch base with Debbie and with me in between shows. I post always the Positivity Power Play of the week there, which is a wonderful tip or tool that you can use to raise your happiness set point. And I post lots of other inspirational posts and whatnot that just strike my fancy, and I post them for you to look at. So join the community. Several weeks ago, I gave away journals, Love Your Life journals. They have our fantastic show logo on them, which I think is really pretty. Makes me happy to look at it. And so I made up some journals with the logo, and I'm offering them for a limited time free. All you have to do is join my Facebook group, go to iTunes on your computer, download the show, subscribe to the show, review the show, and then let me know that you did it. Send me a message on Facebook, and I will send you out your very own Love Your Life journal. Now, any of you that have listened to the show know that I am a big fan of journals as a growth tool, as a tool to help you in your life. I mean, there's so many uses that you can use, and we've talked in the past about it. You can listen to past shows and see what I have to say about that, because I guarantee you just about every show I'm kind of urging people to journal. Also, if you like the show, please share it with your friends. And if you have a moment, as I said, leave a review and let us know, and I'll send you a journal. I'd also love to see you on my Facebook author page. It's a place where I share a little piece of my heart, my thoughts, and some of my writings and artwork. And you can come there for inspiration, positivity, connection. It's a pretty large group, and it's a pretty active group. I've got a lot of people that have been with me since I started the page in 2013. And they've been following me ever since, and they're a lot of really nice people. So come on by. You can ask me any questions that you want there. I frequent it. And ask me about one-on-one coaching. If you're looking to work with me one-on-one, I have a few slots available for the summer and heading into fall. So you can give me a little shout out on Facebook and let me know if you'd like to talk with me. I can set you up with a free call. All right. This week's Positivity Power Play. Every week, as I said, I like to give you a research-based, time-tested tool that can help you to raise your happiness set point. And that's what, we're all in life. I think if you boil it down to the least common denominator, it's like we're all in it because we want to be happy. We want to find joy. We want to find purpose. And so these little techniques can help you along that path. So today's Positivity Power Play is a breathing meditation technique that I've used with loads of my coaching clients and Reiki clients for years. I simply call it heart breath. There are other teachers and programs that call it something different. It's a very standard mindfulness tool, really. There are similar techniques being used in a lot of mindfulness programs. And you can jot this down in your journal, or you can join our Facebook group, and I do post all of the Positivity Power Plays. I'm looking to see if I can kind of go through and put them in a files section for you all so they're easier to find. But anyway, you can go to Facebook, you can find the Positivity Power Plays, or you can listen back to the show and find them. I want to remind you too that these tools work, but they aren't just theoretical. They work when you practice them. And you don't have to do them all, and you don't have to do them for 20, 30 minutes a day. You just have to pick one or two that resonate with you. And then the important thing is to do it, practice it. Develop some emotional resilience by using these tools. And then when one gets to be a habit, play with another one. You're building a toolbox. Very helpful for your life. All of these things that you can use day to day. So today's mindfulness PPP, Positivity Power Play, is begin by getting comfortable. And then once you're comfortable, if you can safely close your eyes. And then you begin to bring your attention to your breath. And what you want to do is you're going to focus your breath into your heart. That's the center of your chest, so your heart center. And if it's hard for you to imagine breathing into that center, you can put your hand over your heart until you get the feeling of that body sensation. And then you just imagine focusing your breath, inhaling into your heart center and exhaling through your heart center. And then imagine with each breath that you're filling your heart center with love. And with each exhale, that loving energy flows through your body. And then just get into a natural rhythm with that. Into your heart, flowing love out through your heart. And as you continue to breathe in this way, bring into your mind, into your imagination, a positive feeling. So you're going to think about this positive thing in as much detail as you possibly can. It can be helpful if you think of a specific person maybe that's really easy for you to love, or a beloved pet, or maybe a place that just is like your peace place. It's some place that just makes it easy for you to feel that loving energy, that positive energy. And bring all your senses into play too as you recall this positive feeling. And then you breathe into your heart, exhaling through your heart. And you only need to do this for just a minute or so, and it has a really profound effect. Now, after you've done this, after you've, done like a minute or so of this on your own, take out your journal and write about it. What did you experience? Was it easy? What came up for you? Maybe think about times during your everyday life that you could use this technique. First thing in the morning, before you go to sleep, before meetings, anytime you're feeling overwhelmed. It's a really easy technique. As I've said time and time again, you always have your breath with you. So this is a fabulous way to kind of connect all of that. All right, let's get into our deep breathing and affirmations. And I think what we'll do is we'll practice using this heart breath. So if we can have some soft music, let's get comfortable. Just find a place where you can sit. Maybe uncross your limbs, let the energy flow. And if you can do so safely, just close your eyes. Take this time, give yourself this gift of traveling inward. And bring your attention to your breath. And as you breathe in, focus that inhale into your heart center. And as you exhale, imagine exhaling through your heart center. With each inhale, you're breathing in love into your heart. And with each exhale, that loving energy flows throughout your entire body. Breathing into your heart. Exhaling, letting that loving energy flow through your body. And get into your own natural rhythm. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Continue to breathe into your heart center. And now bring to mind a positive feeling. Maybe a person or a pet or a place that makes it easy for you to feel love, joy, and appreciation. See that person, place, or pet as clearly as you can in your mind's eye as you continue to breathe. And bring all your senses into play now. What does this look like? What does it feel like? Are there any smells or tastes? Take a deep breath and make that image very vivid. Feel it. What does it feel like? Allow yourself to smile with joy as you feel such pleasant emotion. Continue to breathe as we affirm together, I love my life, and life loves me. I begin each day with a deep breath and a thank you. I look for things to appreciate during my day. I use my breath to bring me back to my present moment. My point of power is in the present. I bless my past for the lessons it taught me. I bless my future by being mindful in my present moment. I prepave my future events by focusing on how I want to feel. I trust life. I love knowing that I am the only thinker in my brain. I love knowing that my thoughts are just thoughts and they can be changed. The more I train myself to look for the goodness in life, the more life sends me good things. When I change the way I look at things, I change my world. I am open to new ways of being, seeing, and doing. I love my life, and life loves me. And so it is. And take another nice deep breath in. And let it out. You can wiggle your fingers. You can wiggle your toes. Give yourself a big stretch. Give yourself a big hug. And take another deep breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Bringing your awareness back into your present moment, into the room, and ready to listen to our topic for today. All right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you all. Welcome, Debbie and Gina. Are you there, ladies?
Yes.
Welcome, Gina.
Thank you. Hello. That was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I like to start that way for my audience and also for me. It gets me calm.
Yes.
And your lovely co-host.
And my lovely co-host. Oh, my goodness. So, Gina DePrima is joining us. Gina, tell us about yourself.
Hello.
How's that for an open-ended question?
Yeah, right. What would you like to know? Well, I think as you mentioned, I do have a show on Inflow Radio. I have a podcast, Divorce with Heart.
Yes, and it's wonderful.
I'm a divorce and I'm a divorce and family law attorney. I've been practicing in that capacity, oh boy, a long time now, 15 years. Mm-hmm. And it's through that practice and what I was seeing from the professional side of the desk, we'll say, and how I saw my clients suffering, how I saw my clients really at the end of the day all wanting the same thing. Everybody comes in wanting an amicable divorce, an amicable separation. Everybody comes in wanting to do what's best for their kids, not hurt their kids, have a good co-parenting relationship. But then what I was noticing was how, despite the best of intentions that people have, often they will say things, do things, act in certain ways that are essentially just sabotaging their own visions, their own ideals, and not knowingly, right? I mean, it's all subconsciously because we all have these programs that are running through us.
Exactly.
That was really where the idea of Divorce with Heart was born, that I just wanted to start shifting the way people really thought of divorce and family difficulties, and trying to shift the perspective and help people to realize that there's more than one way of going through this kind of process, and to really realize also that although it's a heart-wrenching, stressful situation, that's just one side of the coin. That the other side of the coin, or the other possibility here, is that really it's an amazing opportunity for you as a person going through it to regain some control, get in touch with themselves and their higher self, their spiritual self, and to start redesigning and recreating and reshaping their life so that they really are able to have a better life, have more balance, have more happiness, do things that really are, in truth, protecting their kids. So that's kind of like that's where I came from a professional level. And obviously also I had my own personal programming. My parents divorced when I was 14 years old. And, you know, that's a major point in anybody's life. 14, you got all the hormones, everything going on. Life was crazy. I was the oldest I have two younger brothers, so I was the oldest. So I felt like, you know, as the oldest child, everything was falling on my shoulders. And, so I was really drawing a lot on my own personal experience and then my own professional experience. And that's really, those things combined just sort of got all mixed up and became my driving force.
But that's what makes you so powerful. That makes you such a powerful advocate for people, you know, because you've lived it and you've seen it from both sides of the coin. And it really just, you know, when I met you, I just was so impressed by your heart, really.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Well,
but you use that, you bring that, you know, you bring that into everything that you do. And I think it's so needed because, you know, the statistics still are like 50% of marriages end in divorce, right? So, you know, there's a lot of people that are going through this and a lot of people don't know how to manage this. They've never been taught how to manage their emotions as individuals, never mind when you're a couple going through this very hard thing.
Right. Exactly. And you see, that's the problem. And that's what I was noticing with my clients is that, you know, not only are they doing things that are basically sabotaging the very vision of what they had for their own future on the other side of the separation, but they become so stuck and so entrenched in just their regular way of dealing, or it becomes worse as they go through the process, that the whole idea of even trying to co-parent in a positive, productive manner after the fact, it's like shattered. You know, it doesn't get easier. It gets worse. And that's really what I've really been striving for to help people realize through the show and just in the way that I represent people is that, yes, this is a life-changing process, but it's also an opportunity now for you to rebuild and have a stronger foundation for the future and even a better relationship with your ex. And that is all possible. And it happens, you know, and I think you're right. The statistic is still 50%. And the other thing I'm noticing is that more and more people are also choosing not to get married because of that statistic, which I think is interesting because it doesn't change the heartache. Right. It doesn't. The heartache is still there.
It's still the same thing. Yeah. And I think you know, the word opportunity, I think that's such an important, you know, reframe because we tend to, when we're going through a painful event, and I divorced when my children were 10 and 11-ish, somewhere in there. And it was a heart-wrenching decision. I never envisioned getting divorced. I believed that we would stay married and then, you know, things happen and that becomes the best option. I think on my end, I tried to be very mindful and I tried to be, I wanted to co-parent. He really didn't. And so that became a subject of hurt for my children. But now it's like they're developing an adult relationship with their father. And I've learned to let go of a lot of anger that I had towards him. So it's like, but there is that opportunity for growth. And I think that's an important shift in your mindset, you know, to get out of the pain of it and into the opportunity for growth. Right.
I think it's a necessity, you know, I really do. That's how strongly I feel about it, because I really feel like if you can't start shifting the way you think about it and experience the process, then it's like you're almost just dooming yourself, you know, and even if it's not a doom relative to your relationship with the ex, right? You're more likely to repeat the same patterns with the next partner and the next partner. And your children are learning and observing and modeling the same dysfunction. Really?
Yes. That's what I say to my clients all the time is that wherever you go, you take your energy with you. So,
Yes.
you can gently clean up your energy around any situation in life, and it's going to have profound effects on every other area in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And now,
'Cause
I
it's all
mean,
the same.
science is giving us the proof now, too.
Right.
Finally.
Yes.
Something
Love
that,
it.
we've always said kind of philosophically or in theory or spiritually. Now we're like getting the scientific proof to validate it, which I just
I know.
absolutely love. I think it's
It
awesome.
gives me tingles. Like when you said that, I got goosebumps.
It does.
Because it's like, that is what, like I'm a Louise Hay, Heal Your Life teacher. And, I met Louise and studied with her personally. And I just, all of the things that she was talking about is that your thoughts create your reality and that, they're important. They, that's all being proven now with scientific techniques. So let's talk about that because I love that. I know that you've been using HeartMath, which I thank you for mentioning that because I've been doing research on it and I just absolutely love it. So talk to me about some of the tools that you use, some of those mindfulness. I consider them basically mindfulness tools.
Well, let's start, if you don't mind, like what you just did in your, in the power, did you call it a power play? I'm sorry.
It's the positivity power play. Yep.
The positivity power play and what you just did there in the breathing and how you brought us all right into our heart space.
Mm-hmm.
That is so important.
Yes.
Like underline, double, bold, exclamation point. Because what the research is now telling us, and this comes from the people over at the HeartMath Institute, they started really developing this in the early 90s. It started coming out. But what they're showing us and what they've discovered is that the heart, unlike what a lot of us were told growing up in school, that the heart is not just this, organ that's just pumping blood through our bodies and like that's its sole and primary function. Like that's not it at all. And, that's how I was raised to think, that everything came from our brain. Our brain was kind of in control. Our brain was the driver and what they're telling us.
Mm-hmm.
And what'd you say? I missed it.
The brain is fixed.
Yeah.
We learned.
But what they're discovering now, and this is all scientifically validated, is that is an old school way of thinking.
Exactly.
And it's really truthfully the heart that is really more in control because at all times it's the heart that is receiving information from the body and then communicating information up to the brain, at which point then the brain is then, of course, then communicating information back down to the heart and the body. So when you, for example, in the positivity power play brought us right into our heart space and asked us to focus our attention right into our heart and breathing in and out of the heart, what that does on a physiological level is it's changing what the scientists are calling is heart rate variability, which, just for the sake of simplicity, it's basically your heart rhythm. Okay. I'm not a scientist, so I'm just going to refer to it like that.
Yep.
But it's changing the pattern of your heart rhythm. Okay. And what's happening when you breathe into your heart like that, instead of having this very chaotic looking heart rate variability, heart rhythm pattern that if I could map it out for you, it would look very jagged, very edgy, like an earthquake type of picture, right? Instead of having that, when you get into your heart space and you breathe slowly in and out through your heart, you start to change that into this beautiful looking, more flowy sine wave kind of heart rate variability pattern. And it's no wonder it looks flowy. Because that's exactly what's happening,
Right.
So I think it's ironic about this stuff. It's exactly what's happening. So you're synchronizing your breath with your heart when you do that, and we just did that here. Then all of a sudden the signal going up to your brain becomes this more beautiful sine wave signal, which then is what is then emitted back down and throughout. And as a result, everything else in your body, your autonomic nervous system, which is responsible for, 90% of everything that happens in our lives, our breathing, our heart rate, our perspiration, everything, right? Our hormones, everything that's going on. all of that stuff starts to fall in line, and it balances out and it synchronizes.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say it's funny that the wave like pattern would actually look like a flowy wave, because you're really then on a very physiological level in the flow state, more of a flow state. You're balanced, you're harmonized, your heart rate variability, your heart rhythm is balanced with your brain rhythm. So they're working together and not at opposites. You know, I mean, how many times are we stressed out and we're like saying things like, you know, I'm so stressed out, I'm at my wit's end, my nerves are frayed, you know, I can't think clearly, I can't.
Yes.
There's a reason. There's a physiological reason for that. It's true, because your heart rate's all crazy and jagged, and so your autonomic nervous system is crazy and out of whack, and your brain and your heart aren't communicating right, you know?
Right. You're releasing the stress hormones. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you're flooding when you're flooding your body with the stress hormones. You can't think straight. It's impossible.
Right. You've got all that cortisol. In fact, I don't have the exact study in front of me, so I'm going off of memory, but I think one of the things that they found was that if you experienced anger, the feeling of anger, for just 5 minutes, okay, they saw significant changes in the body on a physiological level and the level of cortisol that would last to a detrimental level. It was suppressing the immune system to a detrimental level for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours later, okay? I mean, a crazy amount of time, just from 5 minutes of energy.
Yes.
Conversely, if you were to experience just 5 minutes of that good feeling, like that you were just drawing in for us in that power play that we just did, feeling compassion, like a heart renewing feeling, just 5 minutes of that, your immune system gets elevated for hours and hours and hours, you know, later. Of course, I'm simplifying it, but that's the gist, you know?
Yes, it really is. And I have noticed that. I mean, in my own life, I have noticed since being more mindful and doing these daily practices, just short amount of time during each day, that I don't get sick as much. I'm like healthier. Yes, you are. And they've got science for that too, because they say that the more you do this, it's like putting gas in your tank, you know, in your car. Exactly. It's there. You're like building up reserves. So then you're better able to handle and respond to any triggers, anything that life is throwing your way. And then if you do get thrown off track or, you know, taken off your center, you can get back easier. It's like putting yourself ahead of the curve, because the more you do it, the easier it gets. You're building the reserves, just like if you're, you know, working out and you're trying to build up your biceps, I guess. Exactly. Kind of the mindfulness muscle. Right? That's what I call it, the mindfulness muscle. If you just spend even a minute a day is beneficial, because then you will find that your body starts to crave that quiet time. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, the changes that you're doing for yourself on that very, you know, physiological level, I mean, it's amazing. And it all starts in the heart. It doesn't start in the brain. It starts in the heart. Exactly. And you can see that it's not even that it's difficult or challenging to shift from that kind of jagged heart rhythm, which is technically like this incoherent state, to that beautiful flow rhythm, or more of a coherent state where everything is balanced and aligned. Is really, it can be very simple. Going into your heart space, breathing in and out through your heart, just like you did for us, and activating a renewing feeling. And that can change everything. Of course, the trick is doing it. That is the trick, because I find people to be very resistant. You know, it's like they see the benefit, and yet they tend to be resistant. Well, I can't do that. I didn't have time. But everybody has a minute.
And that's all it takes. You're right. It's a minute. In fact, you don't even need quiet space. Like, this isn't even meditation. I mean, you're breathing anyways, is what I say.
That's why I always say, everywhere you go, you have your breath.
Right. So it's like you're doing it anyways. So you decide how you want that breath and how you want that rhythm to be, you know?
And this past week, I found my minute. I was using eye drops, and I have to wait a minute between drops. And so of just standing down, do, I went, oh, I can breathe. I can do mindfulness.
Nice.
And so now,
And
you know, look, yeah. And what a difference it makes.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, and it was easy. You had that minute anyway,
was.
right? I mean, I say, why not do it at a stop sign, you know, at a stoplight when you're sitting there, you instead of getting frustrated that the traffic's moving so slowly, you're sitting there breathing anyway.
Right.
Do it then.
Yeah.
Do it in the elevator. You know, you don't even have to close your eyes, honestly.
Nope.
And in fact,
no, you really don't.
The way the heart math techniques are designed, they are designed to be just completely integrated into your regular life.
Right.
You don't even have to close your eyes. You don't have to be in a private place. It's like just do it for your sake and then the sake of others. And this is the other thing I wanted to bring up, Jeannie, because you were mentioning about, you know, your children and what you were experiencing and how we can affect others. And, you know, science has given us the proof behind that now too.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because the heart, the electromagnetic field that's produced by the heart is stronger. I forget how many times stronger, but stronger, let's say 10 times stronger than the field produced by the brain. And what they're finding is that absolutely, you know, that electromagnetic field has information in it. It has the information of your feelings, of your emotions, of what you're going through. And that is exactly why someone can walk into a room and you're picking up on it, even without them saying anything, even without them doing anything, like without their body language, you know?
Exactly.
So we're constantly influencing each other through our heart's electromagnetic field. So again, it's like, ask yourself, what kind of vibe do you really want out there? The incoherent, jagged, you know, stressed out, angry one? Or the one that's like more in this beautiful flow state? Because we always have that choice.
That is one of the main principles in Louise Hay's teaching, is that we get what we give out. And that just illustrates, like, as you say, science is showing that. Yes, you do get what you give out. What your heart is projecting out to the world, people are picking up on, whether they're conscious of it or not. They're picking up on that vibe that you're giving out. And I noticed that with my children.
Yep. I've done my own experiments in my own life, because everything that I say, you know, I like to practice what I preach as much as possible.
The same.
And, you know,
same here.
Mean, my husband and I, we're not divorced, but I mean, like any marriage, you know, you've got your challenging times and things that, you know, I say or do, or he says or does that really aggravates me. It's just life, right?
You're right.
So I run these little sort of experiments where we'll be going through a patch where, let's just face it, I'm really pissed off and he's aggravating the hell out of me and whatever. And I'll try to just shift my own perspective around it, get into my heart and start like projecting from that heart field more of a sense of like love or patience. I mean, intentionally doing it, right?
Yes.
And I will tell you what, 10 out of 10 times, everything changes. He doesn't even know why, but he changes.
I know. I have seen this a million times. And again, it's something my clients are resistant to believe, but I'm like, you don't have to change anybody. You just have to work on yourself. You just have to decide, how do you want to feel, and then foster that within you, because your whole life will shift. Everybody around you will shift, and you won't even know why. It's like magic.
It is magic. I feel like it's magic, because it can happen. Is. It can happen so quickly too, you know, that's what I've experienced. And that's what they're saying too, is that the heart, you know, what they've discovered is inside the heart, there's special cells in there. I think it's 40,000 specialized cells that are just like the cells in your brain. So they're neurite cells, I think is the technical term. So they call it's like the little brain in the heart. And what's fascinating here too about this little brain in the heart is it really functions just like your brain. It can learn things. It can process things. It has memories, its own memories, all independent of the brain. Independent, which is the one reason why sometimes just like talk therapy doesn't work, because you might be, you know, only working at the brain level when your heart's remembering something, you know? But what they found is, while there's this two-way communication street happening, like I was explaining earlier with the heart rhythm, what they've also found is that the heart is sending much more communication to the brain through this heart brain than the brain's ever sending to the heart or through the body. And quicker, faster. So, which is great whenever you're in a situation and you're not sure about something, you're debating something. It's awesome. Do a technique like you just walked us through. Get into your heart space, breathe into your heart space first, then ask the question inside, and that answer would more likely be the answer from your heart, which would more likely be the accurate, intuitively correct answer.
Yes.
Instead of the brain one that's overanalyzing and, stuck in all of the patterns and lessons in the past.
Because oftentimes, the brain is like, it's a valuable tool, but it often is, as you say, stuck in those old belief patterns. And many of the beliefs that we're walking around with, we picked up in our childhood. So some of those don't serve us, but we're still subconsciously running that program in our brain. So until you get into your heart as an adult and you realize that I don't have to believe that anymore, and you can make something else true for you. And one way to do it quickly is by getting into your heart more and more and understanding it and feeling it. And, it's a great way to shift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I remember growing up, I always used to think like the eyes were like the windows to the soul. And now I'm just like more about, I think that's true when you really look in somebody's eyes. But if that's the case, then I think the heart is like the doorway.
Yes. Yeah. Right. I see that. Definitely. It all just makes what I love about all of this is, the science is proving all of it. And it's all stuff that people like you and me and Debbie and all these other people that are doing similar work, we all knew this, but now it's like you can point to studies that are showing that what we've been talking about is true. It excites me so.
I know. It's wonderful. I know. Yeah. And so they have the Heart Math Institute. I think that's where they do most of the scientific research. They have a couple of different websites, but if anybody was curious to look on their own, I am saying HEARTMATH. I'll spell that out because sometimes people don't know what I'm saying, but it's fascinating.
It really is. I had heard of it. And I had not really, it kind of came into my consciousness and went out of my consciousness. But when we were having you on as a guest and you had mentioned to me that you were using this, I said, wow, I need to find out more about this. So I'm enthralled. I think it's a fabulous thing. I think I'm going to study it and add it to my coaching practice because I think it's super beneficial. It's incredible.
And it's so easy. I mean, I even do this with my kids because everybody can benefit. They're really working. Trainers are going out there and they're training people in the military. They're training first responders. They're training professional athletes because when you can get your body into this more coherent state, which again starts with the heart and starts with the breath that we just did here. Yeah. So everything else can fall in line and become balanced. That's your coherent state.
Yes.
You're not only do you feel better, I mean, of course you're going to feel better, but your ability to make decisions, it becomes easier. You have clearer thinking. Your overall performance, your physical performance, your reaction time, all of that stuff. That's why it's so important for athletes.
Right. You're a better everything. Yeah. You become a better everything. Whatever you want to do in your life.
Joe Dispenza, he calls us like superhumans. It's like you're superhuman. It's like tapping into the power.
Yes, truly. It is where your power is. So your heart is where your power is. I think that's really important. It is so simple and yet it eludes so many people. So what are some of your favorite sort of ways to get into the heart?
One of my go-to things, and the ways to get in is always like just that exercise you just walked us through in the beginning, just slowing down your breath, putting your attention on your heart, breathing in and out of your heart. When I was teaching my kids, and this is something I share with my clients if they're ever having difficulty, it came from my son. He would imagine like a rose just opening up, like the rose was his heart opening up.
That's
So,
beautiful.
to picture that kind of a visual, I think sometimes is really helpful. Picture something like a rose opening, or
like that.
sometimes I'll work with colors coming in and out just to do that. But one of my go-to techniques is I like to, once I'm into my heart space, I like to breathe in a sense of ease because, if anything in my life, I get pulled more to the stress side of things, more to the anxious side of things. So, I like to breathe in and anchor back into that feeling of inner ease, which for me, it's like sitting on a beach and I'm just seeing and feeling the ocean waves and just that easy flow,
Yes.
and sure, visualization and my thoughts on it are our piece, but really the key ingredient here is always to feel it. So I literally put myself energetically there. So
I love that.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
And
I always
feel
say
it.
feelings
And
are the magic sauce. They're the special sauce with anything. How do you want to feel and how can you elicit that feeling in your present moment?
Yeah. So just breathing that in through the heart way,
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do. And there's technology that I use when I work with my clients or, for myself and my family here that is really wonderful and useful too, because it can give you real-time metrics of how coherent you are. And I can
tell us about those because you can get those online.
You can, and it's so neat. And I actually have a special link for that I can share with you, Jeannie, and you can share that with your listeners too.
Oh,
because,
I would love that. Yeah, message me with that, and I'll put that on the group.
I will, because
if you don't mind,
there's a discount. There's a discount with my link because
awesome.
I'm certified,
Oh,
so
cool.
I get.
Oh, yes, I love it. I love it. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, please share that link with me, and I will definitely put it on the group. Yeah.
But the technology is really cool. It's what I use most often. It goes with me wherever I go because it's an app on my phone. And then it's just this like little piece of technology. I clip to my shirt, clip it to my ear, and I'm good to go. Cool. And
so it's like
biofeedback, give you, like I was
right?
saying. It's very similar to biofeedback. So you're really getting a picture of where you're at in any given moment. And then there's tools within the app to help you shift into that coherent state as well, which is, awesome.
Nice.
And it's neat because once you start using it, like I'll be sitting here and I'll be in a coherent state and everything will be great. And all of a sudden it will go red, which red is incoherent. There's different colors, red, blue, or green. Green is coherent. Blue, you're kind of in the middle. Red, like, something just happened.
Okay, that's cool.
It's amazing to see it because it will literally line up with like some negative thought that just went through me or something, that created an emotional reaction.
I love it.
You've got to see it because it happens so quickly.
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm all over it. I'm ordering that.
I've even seen it happen. I mean, this is a little bit, it's not like, I was going to say spooky or freaky, but it's not. It's just, it's cool to see it actually, like seeing the real signs and the metrics behind it. Like if, for example, I, was in maybe not in a good place with whoever it is, just like my son or whatever. Maybe he irritated me or something, or something happened earlier in the day. And right, of course. And so I'll be sitting there and I'll have it on and I'll be doing my practice and I'll be coherent and not even fully aware necessarily that he's about to walk in the room or whatever, and it will shift. Because again, your heart and that magnetic field, they're communicating quicker and automatically before our brain and our perception is even there on top of it.
Yeah, and it's anticipating.
I've observed that happen.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yes. What had happened one time when I didn't even know he was coming. That's what I'm saying. Like,
amazing.
Like my heart detected it before
Yes.
I was consciously even aware of it.
Yes.
That's the way that I could share it.
I love it. I am so intrigued. So tell us how people can get in touch with you, Gina, because, I guarantee you some of my listeners are probably going through a divorce or have gone through a divorce and are trying to heal from it. And, tell people how they can get in touch with you and work with you.
Sure. I think the best way right now is if they go to the Inflow Radio website and just navigate to my show page that's on there, Divorce with Heart, there's a free gift option. And that way they will get my free gift, which is my guide to igniting the warrior spirit, because I'm trying to raise people and shift their mind to think, okay, we're going through this, but let's do it in a way that we're going to come from a place of peace and compassion, forgiveness, while still being strong and confident and courageous.
Yes.
Which is how I define the warrior.
Right.
So the warrior of peace, igniting that spirit
Love it.
energy. So that's the guide. I've also recreated it a little bit to add in some bonus tools. So they'll get what I've called the coherent flow for inner ease, which is what I use to tap into my heart and breathe in that feeling of inner ease. And a video also just explaining a little more about the techniques that we were talking about here today. So they get all that off of that link, the free gift link, and then they will be obviously in my email system. And of course, I'm on Facebook. I've got the Divorce with Heart Facebook group that follows the podcast. And yeah, just hook up with me there. I'm always in it. I'm
All
always
right. So
communicating there.
infloradio.com, go to Gina DePrima's show, Divorce with Heart, sign up for her free gift, get on her mailing list. And I will tell you, I mean, my divorce was many, many years ago. And, I've gone to your page and I love all of the things that you're doing for people that are going through that now. Because for me, it was like, I did feel somewhat alone in going through it. Fortunately, I did have, Louise Hay in my life and Summer McStravick at that time. So I had some awareness tools to help me through that, but I am so happy that people have access to someone like you, because it's amazing. Amazing.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for this opportunity to talk with your listeners. I really appreciate it. And I just love all the work that you do as well. And I think I got to get one of those journals.
Oh, yeah. Well, all you got to do
them.
is subscribe to my show, leave a review. I'll do the same.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, no, it's, I'm a big fan of journals, because you know what? When you're doing this heart work, things come up. And a lot of times, journaling can help process those things. Journaling can help uncover some of those limiting beliefs so that you can then immediately in writing flip those over to, what do I want? I'm talking about what I don't want. Now, what is it that I do want? How do I want to feel? What does that look like? I mean, there's so many wonderful ways you can use a journal to help you along the road of, awareness and mindfulness and being present. All of those good things that, in some way or another, we're all teaching.
Yeah. And the more we do it for ourselves, the more we can affect others, and so on and so on. And that ripple effect will just go, right?
Yes, exactly.
We can have
and
a
now
beautiful,
we know,
peaceful world.
I believe it's possible. And I think, Louise used to say that all people need to do is believe that peace is possible, and it's like, and now we know that what's in your heart is going to ripple out anyway, just automatically. So fill yourself with love. This is why loving yourself is so darn important. So love yourself, so that you can love your life, and that can flow out to people. It's so very important. And I just am so happy to see people like you and all the other Inflow Radio hosts and all the other people out there that are doing similar work. It makes me so happy to see these kind of thoughts going out there in the world, because we need it. We need people that can understand their emotions and process them and spread those good vibes.
Yeah, and realize the power that we have, because we have so much more power. We have power over our emotions. Our emotions
Yes.
don't control us.
Yeah, so
You know?
Exactly.
They're there to guide
Amen.
us.
Right. So there's your big takeaway. Your emotions are there to guide you. So love your life, love yourself, learn how to process those emotions. They're all good. There's no bad ones. And we'll see you next week. Love you all. Talk to you later. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey everyone! Thanks so much for listening today. I'd love to connect with you further, so I invite you to head over to Facebook and join my group, Love Your Life, Reconnect to You. You can chat with other listeners and followers and ask me any questions that might pop up between shows. I'd also love it if you like and follow my Facebook page at facebook.com/Jeannie Lee Perrin. If you want one-to-one coaching, head to my website, www.jeannieleeperrin.com, to schedule a free discovery session. So until next week, remember to enjoy the journey.
This show was brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.